Okay, if you've been following along this Easter reading plan, I just want to say that it was absolutely not my intention to not release a video today. It's been a busy time and I didn't manage to film anything yesterday. And now we're here, and it suddenly seems completely apt to me that there wasn't a kind of video accompanying this morning, if you were looking for one this morning when you woke up, because it's Easter Saturday. It's silence. It's kind of, radio silence for those who probably were expecting a magnificent, culmination of the plan of the ages back when Jesus died on the cross. I'm sure there were many who woke up on Saturday morning thinking, okay, well, now we'll understand why that happened. Now we'll understand what it is that's just gone on, that's shaken our world upside down. And Saturday, this Sabbath day that came after the crucifixion of Jesus, was a day of total silence. So I did not plan that, and I didn't mean it to be this way, but I actually think it's really fitting that I forgot to do a video. So I'm sorry, but I want to just talk really quickly today, and this will be the last video, about Saturday's invitation to trust and Sunday's invitation to celebrate. And we all know that Sunday's coming. We all know that there's going to be a resurrection to celebrate. But I'm sure for those believers who were standing at the tomb, standing at the foot of the cross, sitting in rooms together and just awestruck by what had happened and probably crushingly disappointed by the fact that seemingly Jesus didn't defeat anything. I'm sure that Saturday was a long and really difficult day. And I think that I've been just considering a lot this year of what it is to trust God when we can't see him moving, and what it is to trust Jesus is working without seeing him working. We sing that song, even when I don't see it, you're working. But it takes an immense amount of trust actually to believe that, even if you don't see it or feel it. And it would have taken even more for those who hadn't yet seen the resurrection that was coming. So I think Saturday is a really poignant day in the Easter build-up. It's a day when you have probably, I can't even point you to a Bible verse, because there's probably some total, 3 verses in the entire Bible that really speak about what was going on in the tomb on that Saturday. We don't know. We don't know what was going on. What we do know is that in 1 Peter chapter 3 and 1 Peter chapter 4 and in Ephesians 4, there's this alluding to the fact that Jesus, on the day when he wasn't seen by his disciples, on the day when his body was in the tomb, he was actually going and proclaiming his victory to those already dead. Ephesians 4 says that he descended. Why would we say he ascended if he hadn't first descended? And in 1 Peter 3, it says, Christ also suffered once for sins, the righteous for the unrighteous, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but made alive in the spirit, in which he went and proclaimed to the spirits in prison, those who had not formerly obeyed. The thinking of the time, or at least my understanding of the theology here, is that there wasn't yet eternal life for everyone. It wasn't a guaranteed ascent to heaven if you were a believer. Jesus won that for us through his death on the cross. He paid the price for our eternity in heavenly places with God. And so when he did die, he then in spirit, 1 Peter says, being put to death in the flesh, but being made alive in the spirit, in which he went and proclaimed to the spirits in prison, or in these dead places, of waiting places. He went and declared, he preached the victory that he had won, to say, now life is available to you. Now you can come and spend an eternity with God. And so we see 1 Peter 3 and 4 reference that, and we see Ephesians reference that. And there are many scholars who believe that on that day, when Jesus's body was in the tomb, he was still working. He was going to get the keys to release the prisoners. He was going to speak to them and tell them that their eternity was secure with God. And I just think it's really an amazing thing that even when we can't see God working, even when we can't see Jesus moving, he's up to something. He's doing something. So I just want this to be an encouragement to any of you who feel like it's something of a Saturday season for you. You know that that there's victory coming, you know that there's breakthrough coming, but you're not seeing it right now. Easter Saturday is an invitation to trust. It's an invitation to trust that Jesus is always working on your behalf, that he's doing things behind the scenes that you can't see and that maybe you're not supposed to see, because this is an invitation to trust him, to trust that his ways are good, to trust that he fulfills his promises. And if you're waiting on something, to be secure in that waiting and to know God is still for you. God is still with you. God won't leave you where you are, but he is coming back to bring you an even greater life, to bring you the things that he's promised you. So I love Easter Saturday, this sense of something's coming, this invitation to trust. And tomorrow we know is an invitation to celebrate. Easter Sunday is an invitation to celebrate all the good things of God. Listen, celebration is not empty or inefficient. It's actually something that we're commanded to. And throughout the Old Testament, we see people creating festivals and observing these days that were just all about celebrating the goodness of God, thanking him, offering sacrifices to him, praising him, singing and dancing together. And I just want to say that I think that celebration is most fully lived out in community. And so I just really encourage you. Tomorrow, there won't be a video. I'm not going to do an Easter Sunday video, but I really encourage you, get to church, get to a place where you can celebrate with some people who are there to reflect on the power and the immense purpose of Easter Sunday. Go and do that together. Celebration is all about community. And I hope that this Easter you experience something of the invitation to celebrate God's goodness. He set us free. He broke every chain. He defeated death. He conquered the grave. He came and he rose again, just like he said he would. And he did it so that you and I could know him more. So let's respond to this invitation today to trust him, that he's doing something, the invitation tomorrow to celebrate, and let's see what he's got for us in the year ahead.